Hello everyone and welcome to another Liberty Minute, today brought to you with the help of Blackout Coffee, your Second Amendment friendly mom and pop coffee company. To check out their amazing selection of coffees and teas, use my link down in the description. We've got a lot of news to cover today, so let's just dive right in. Well, the first state to lock down during COVID has finally decided to open up. Over a year later, California lifted most of its COVID restrictions on Tuesday as part of a grand reopening, acting as if Newsom is the manager of a newly remodeled Olive Garden rather than a state housing 39 million people. Vaccinated people are now allowed to rejoin regular life in California, though masks are still required on public transportation and in hospitals, schools, childcare centers, and in jails. The state is also ending all capacity limits and ending the enforcement of physical distancing, as well as retiring the weird multi-tiered color-coded system. The 30% of residents who aren't vaccinated in the state are still in a weird limbo, and Newsom stated during a press conference that the state remaining open relies on people being honest about their vaccine status, which isn't threatening or passive-aggressive at all. New York, too, has announced a similar reopening and will also lift most of their restrictions. Cuomo's announcement hinged on the threshold of also hitting a 70% vaccination mark, a yardstick which he had announced previously in an effort to incentivize the vaccine. Speaking of COVID, Jon Stewart set liberal Twitter on fire after appearing on The Colbert Show earlier this week. He overpowered the host and hijacked the show's return to a live audience with a pretty epic rant on the merits of the lab leak theory that included shouting over Colbert when Colbert tried to interrupt him. He started the rant by saying that we owe a great debt of gratitude to science, which has helped ease the suffering of the pandemic, which he says was likely caused by science. He ended the segment by saying he loves scientists and, quote, they do such good work, but they are going to kill us all. And, if you've seen any horror movie involving viruses or zombies, well, he's not wrong. Despite a growing treasure trove of evidence, liberal Twitter called it a conspiracy theory and has preemptively blamed the next wave of Asian American hate on Jon Stewart. Meanwhile, the link between the COVID vaccine and heart inflammation in young people seems to be growing. Reports of the side effect in young adults and adolescents as young as 15 started coming out a few weeks ago, and the CDC held an emergency meeting on the issue late last week. According to Reuters, the CDC began an investigation after Israel reported discovering a likely link between the Pfizer and Moderna mRNA shots and the cardiac issue. More than half of the cases in the U.S. vaccine adverse event reporting system are in people between the ages of 12 and 24, while those age groups also account for less than 9% of all doses administered. So far, it's appearing mostly after the second dose, and while many patients have been hospitalized, the condition has not yet been fatal. The CDC is still investigating, but currently states there is absolutely no causal relationship between the two. Southwest Airlines saw all of its flights grounded this week due to a huge computer outage. The whole fleet was grounded Monday and again on Tuesday. On Monday, travelers were told the issue was due to performance issues with the airline's third-party weather app, but on Tuesday were told it was due to a nationwide network failure. Passengers also reported being unable to reach customer service and being given weird mixed messages as to whether or not their flights were actually canceled, often being told the airline could no longer help them. Operations didn't resume until about 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Also on Tuesday, the Biden administration announced plans to create special new ways that Americans can snitch on their friends and family members in an effort to stop domestic terrorism. While speaking to reporters, one senior official explained that the new pathways would be created, in part so that people could threaten their friends, family, and coworkers if they begin to feel that their loved ones are becoming too politically radical. One avenue that the official cited was the use of big tech in order to spy on Americans and encouraging these platforms to continue to combat, quote, malicious content online. He stressed that Homeland Security is a responsibility of each citizen and promised, cross his heart, hope to die, that the new government programs would be absolutely politically neutral and wouldn't be used to shut down political adversaries at all. Which, of course, big tech and that so-called secret cabal reported in Time magazine a few months ago never did, ever. It's the government, and they're here to help. And finally, Biden at the G7 summit. Several clips have surfaced that were notably gaffe-ridden, so much so that even the AP has called it out. Highlights included answering a reporter's question with, "Give me a break, it's only been 120 days," confusing Libya and Syria 3 times, pausing to mumble to himself during clearly prepared remarks that he was reading off of cards in front of him, as well as a clip of Biden appearing to get lost in an outdoor cafe. Those incidents could be why the White House has announced he will hold a solo press conference after Wednesday's meeting with Putin, rather than the tradition of both leaders fielding questions from reporters together. After all, when recently reminded that he called Putin a killer earlier this year and asked if he still felt that way, Biden went completely silent for a long enough period of time that I thought my computer had frozen.
I'm laughing too. They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
He then babbled that Putin may or may not have in the past admitted to maybe or maybe not doing some things or being willing to do some things, and said it wasn't at all relevant to their Wednesday meeting, which I'd be willing to bet Putin would disagree with. Biden promptly forgot the rest of the question.
The second question was related. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
That's your news roundup for today. If you liked this video, please check out my channel for videos on single topics, as well as weekly live streams every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.